Back to Tiny Chuck. You may notice I look very different. Well, not so much different as it is I grew a beard and cut my hair again. It's just a little change. I wanted to spread my wings and let my head feel the breeze for once. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. You people may not know, but I am a former KFC manager. I was a manager at KFC for 6 months, and I worked for KFC for about 2.5 years. I recently came across this video called KFC Exposed, showing some practices, and I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna react to it, and I'm gonna basically tell you whether it's true or not, and what the reasoning behind some of this stuff you see might be. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Nick.
Well,
What do you want the world to know about KFC and Taco Bell?
I want the world to know that this is what we do when we close. And then we feed it to the customers again.
So the same food. So you
Yes, this is something that we did do. We would replace. We would only be for like the corn and the green beans because they're pretty much able to be reheated in the microwave the next day. But it only goes till the next day. It doesn't last. It gets thrown out after the first day. Since most of the stuff does come prepackaged in either bags or cans anyway. I assume it still is like good because it's not being served to the customer. It's just kept in a warmer for most of the day. Um, Generally, you won't experience the leftovers like this if you go in the afternoon. It's typically you typically go through it during the morning shift. If you really want, sometimes they do make fresh as well, and they mix the old stuff with the fresh stuff so that they can save product and reduce waste. Um, if you're really if you really want to avoid that, I would say probably go in around the shift change, so like 2:30 to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and that will be when you get your freshest chicken and your freshest sides.
mean to tell me that the same stuff that you had in those cans all day, you put it back in there.
Yep.
Put it.
Not all day. There's a it sometimes this like I said with shift change, you create you make some from the morning till the afternoon, and when the shift change comes, you usually make more because either you run out or it's because it's been sitting in there for too long.
Put it in the freezer and then you sell it to people
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
I don't know. And it's cross-contaminated.
And do they do that when
I wouldn't say it's cross contaminated. It's probably old, but the only reason if the only way it could be cross contaminated is if you put it inside a Cambro and you serve it from the Cambro. If it's prepackaged like that, I don't think you have any cross contamination going inside of it unless you actually like mix the products.
the mac and cheese too?
They sure do. And then
Right here?
Yep.
And these are the empty things.
Sure is.
Macaroni too, yes. We did do that sometimes. Personally, I did not like doing it with the macaroni and cheese because it gets old and stale and gross. But I have seen managers reuse it, but they mix in some extra water when reheating it in the morning, so it creates it basically rehydrates and everything in the morning. Yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that. I don't agree with it, but if I didn't let people take it home, I would just throw it away.
And there's the mac and cheese.
Take a look at that mac and cheese. That mac and cheese is burnt. Look at these old green beans. These green beans been in there for 3 to 4 days.
And is there
If it's been in there for 3 or 4 days, you need to toss that shit. I would leave it only in there for 1 day max for the next day, and that's as far as I would leave it because that's fucking gross. So it really depends on which location you're going to. I guess this one I think they did mention that it was like a KFC Taco Bell, so maybe that's why they're kind of being shitty about not replacing their sides and stuff. But yeah, it shouldn't last more than a day with leftovers.
Any chicken that's been sitting up there all day?
Yes, it is. Let me show you the chicken. Here's the chicken that's been in there since 1:30 p.m.
And they're gonna sell that to people tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wrong. They're not going to sell that to people tomorrow. They make fresh chicken every day. At the beginning of the shift, they make fresh chicken. In the shift change to make fresh chicken. It usually lasts. From what I could see here, it looks like somebody didn't either they didn't replace the tag or they just refused to make more chicken. But they're not going to sell this the next day. I can tell you what they are going to use the chicken for. They're going to debone the chicken, take the skin off, and use the meat for pot pies. That's what we did. At the end of the night, that's what we would do. We would debone the meat, take all the meat off, and put them in little plastic bags so that when we prepare the pot pie mix in the morning, we'd mix in the chicken and then heat it up. And then we would put it in pot pie bases.
Oh my goodness.
That's stank.
What else do people need to know, Nick?
I'll go up.
It's like chocolate or something.
No, it's not that. It's gotta be the next.
Does it stink to mine?
Hell yeah, that stink. Look, smell this one, Shana.
There's another
Oh,
one?
that one ain't. Ooh, wee.
And this chicken right here been in there since 4:30, and they're gonna sell this tomorrow to customers.
There you have it.
Again, they're not going to sell it. They're probably going to use it for pot pies.
And it has, just think, mold and mildew
Yeah.
probably grew in there.
There should be no mold or mildew inside your warmers or anything. If you're doing what you're supposed to, those get cleaned every night. You might have like water and heat, but there should be no reason for mold and mildew to be growing on anything. So
That's all you need to know.
that's all you need to know, huh? Yeah, there's missing a lot of context. I feel like a lot of people who work at like KFC don't really give a fuck and stuff sometimes, and it leads to inaccuracies and messing with problems with how things are made and maintained. The KFC I worked at, I can guarantee you that the chicken was made fresh every day. We never saved chicken outside of the pot pie mixes, or unless we were saving like wings to donate to a charity or something. Because we did do that. We kept it in the freezer for whenever they would come and pick it up. We'd reuse that chicken for the pot pie base after deboning it every night. Fresh chicken is made every day during the beginning of the day when we run out and during shift change, and probably one more time at night. It's good for about 3 to 4 hours, I believe, if my memory serves right, in the warmer. So if that chicken has been there from 1:30, it probably should have been thrown out because it would no longer be practical to use for pot pie base. As for the sides, I mean, you reheat vegetables and stuff after you eat a meal, after you put it in the fridge anyway. So it's like, I'm not really worried when it comes to like corn and stuff because it really has a low, because it's all separate anyway. It's not like you're gonna have canisters of corn sitting in with the chicken or anything. It's all separate in containers and stuff. So that should be good for at least like another day at least. But that mac and cheese probably should have been thrown out. They could have gone with some fresh mac and cheese for the next morning instead of using it. Basically, when it came to food, when I was working at KFC and pretty much anywhere else I work, even at Five Guys now, if it looks like shit, I just throw it away. It's not worth saving. If you wouldn't personally eat it, then don't keep it. Anyway, this has been Tiny Chuck. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you learned something valuable with my information. If you have any questions, I can maybe do a follow-up video, or I can, just answer your questions in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.